All right, we are back here on the podcast talking about week one of the NFL season. A very interesting week for sure. Join me today to break it all down. I'm going to tradition on the podcast. Our NFL guy, Joe Dalvizio, is here. Joe, welcome. How are you?
Mike, always a pleasure. Like we always say, week one comes, it goes, and then before we know it, we're talking playoffs. But
Yeah,
it's here.
yeah. Before you blink, you'll be like looking outside. There's Christmas lights and snow on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, you walk through the supermarkets already. It's Halloween land, so here we are. We'll be eating the bird soon, sitting with Santa, and then it's playoff football.
It was Halloween Land Supermarket in July. Let's be fair.
You ain't kidding. You ain't kidding. The pumpkin spice is out in full flight now.
Yep, it is full flight now. People are starting to grail them here. And talk generally week one here. I feel like I may be a bit skewed because I think the four games I spent the most time on were probably four of the most interesting games of the week. But I think overall good week one. I don't know like if your view ch is different than mine, but I feel like the football card is a little better than we've gotten in week one in the past.
Yeah, I thought the football, and I'm kind of in your boat too. I did spend more time focusing on individual games rather than, I had the red zone on in the background and I had, updates here and there. But I spent a lot of time watching the Jets. I spent a lot of time watching Chiefs Chargers, spent a lot of time until I went to bed, of course, Bills Ravens, like most of America, right? But I thought the overall quality was way better than what we've seen in years past. I mean, outside of, what's unique though is I thought you had some really marquee matchups that you could like look back at and be like, wow, game of the year on week one. Like
Yeah.
that doesn't happen often. And there was a handful that you could kind of, I don't want to say game of the year, but will go down as like top games of the season, definitely.
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed a lot of what I watched. I basically went the Thursday game, the Friday night game, I got the end of it. I got the Jet game, I got Bills Raiders. I did not get to watch last night because I was out last night playing fall softball. But from what I watched, I got Renzo at the 4 o'clock window. I had a good time.
How we doing softball?
We have a fall league that just started.
Oh, it just started.
Yes.
Are we a big pitcher, big hitter? What's the Mike Phillips special here?
DH.
DH, okay.
Yeah.
Got a big bat. I like to hear that.
Yeah. We'll see if it stays hot throughout the season here. But let's go to the Jets, I think with a more interesting local angle here. They lose 34-32 to Pittsburgh. Not the game you're expecting out of the Jets here, where like their offense looks electric for the first half. They first time since 1991 they go a first half without punting the football. Justin Fields moving the ball. They run for 182 yards on the ground. There are some key mistakes late for the Jets to lose this game. So, what's your big takeaways from the Jets here?
It's funny. My friend who's a huge Jet fan was texting me during this game, and he was like, before that stat that you just threw out there about 91, he texted and he goes, I don't think the Jets have played this well on offense since I was in diapers. And then like fast forward to the end of the game and everyone's, sharing that stat. He's like, see, I told you I was right. I gotta be honest, probably one of the most shocking things of week one, only because I did not expect the offense and the team to play the way that they did. I gotta say, I don't want to overreact, and that's what we do week one, right? That's the mantra of week one. Everyone is hitting the panic button, everyone's overreacting about how certain teams, players did, whatever it may be. But it's hard not to be impressed. It's hard not to believe that the guys want to play and win for Aaron Glenn. I think that's very obvious. Now, with that being said, can it continue? Right. So the biggest thing, I thought Fields looked great. But how much of that kind of continues and progresses week to week as teams kind of start to figure out and see actually what this Jets offense is really trying to do or trying to be. But from a week one standpoint, if you're a Jets person and you're a Jets fan, you got to be impressed with what you saw.
Yeah, that was definitely not what I was expecting here. I know the whole preseason is like, oh, are they going to throw it all? They're going to run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. And like they ran down the throats of a Steelers team that's a pretty good run defense, the highest paid defense in the league. That was exciting to see. Obviously, not thrilled with the pass defense and some key guys who you worry about in the preseason did struggle at points. Brandon Stevens had a rough game. Xavier Gibson fumbles the kickoff that ends up leading to a touchdown for the Steelers. Like, and they had a missed PAT that they were chasing the whole game. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on here. It's in the negative column, but like the effort was good.
Those are all fixable things, though. You know what I mean? Like those are things that, yeah, and coach said it. If you make mistakes, you're not going to be on the field, right? So that fumble was huge. With that being said, that's a fixable mistake. The missed PATs, fixable mistake. All right. With that being said, I think, you got to be happy with what you saw. You probably have a little bit more life. Unfortunately, it ended in a way that like all Jets fans are probably like, of course, this is what's going to happen, right?
It's typical Jet
Um,
luck.
exactly, like typical Jet luck. I think it was also though surprising on the flip side if you're someone who was looking at the Steelers and how bad that defense was.
Yeah,
You could also say, and Rodgers played pretty well, right? Rodgers played pretty well. Um, but that defense, who, going into the season, I thought, all right, they are going to lead the way. Didn't really seem like that week one. So, again, if you're a Jets guy, you got to be excited.
yeah. I'm glad you brought Mr. Aaron Rodgers up here. You see what he happened to say post game
About what?
about his desire to get revenge on the Jets.
I heard bits and pieces of it.
Well, I have the clip for you, so I'm going to play the clip here. So this is from SportsCenter's account on X. This is what Aaron Rodgers had to say after the win over the Jets on Sunday.
You spoke about the meeting with Aaron Glenn on McAfee a few months ago. Beating him, is there significance in that? Since he basically told you to your face that you were right for that team.
Yes, that's what he did.
Was there significance in beating him for you?
I was happy to beat everybody associated with the Jets.
You spoke about the meeting.
All right, so I think after hearing that, obviously, like I get where he's coming from, where he said, okay, you know what, like I flew into Jersey, I wanted to play for the Jets. Aaron Glenn spoke for 10 minutes, said no, thank you, like you can go on your merry way. I get, okay, I want to prove to the new guys that they were wrong to let me go. Like to say that everybody associated with the Jets wronged him when they bent over backwards, gave him everything he possibly could have wanted for 2 years, and he did not deliver on his end in 24 when he was healthy. Like that to me is a bit disingenuous.
Well, okay, so here's the thing, right? Like, what do you expect him to say?
Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers. He is gonna just like try and take the attention for himself.
Like I hate to like throw it back at you like that, but what do you expect him to say? I mean, this is a guy that they basically told, "Hey, we don't want you." He wanted to be there.
Yeah.
New coach, new GM said no thanks, but no thanks. Right? And for a guy who, I don't know him from a hole in the wall, obviously, right? But from everything that we see and we read and the ego and this and that, like of course he's gonna wanna go in there and do everything that he can to show them that hey, they made a mistake.
Yeah, I definitely get that.
Also, I think it's unfair to say, oh, when he came back that he didn't live up to his end of the bargain. Like, let's not also remember he's coming back from an Achilles injury that not everybody can recover so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, if Aaron Rodgers had a run attack like he saw against him in week one this past week, I think that would have helped Aaron Rodgers a lot. That never really happened.
Here's the problem with that theory, though, is that like there's a lot of times that Aaron Rodgers is checking out of runs. He wanted to throw the football, and he was basically not being told no.
I mean, so why is it working now, or seems to be working in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, well, he didn't really have to do. The Jets stopped the run; they let him throw the ball because that was the way they
Yeah,
were.
and he threw the ball and he beat him with his arm. So
Yeah,
that's even more insulting,
yeah,
right? So that means for him, it's me. It probably feels even better for him that it was like, hey, you don't even have to run. I don't have to run the ball. I'm just going to pick you apart with my arm, and
yeah,
he did that.
yeah. So
I don't think we could. I don't think we should look too much into it. The bottom line is, they didn't want him. He was obviously pissed that they didn't want him, and he moves on like a professional, and he's gonna take take jabs when he can. That's the type of person he is, I guess.
Yeah, I guess he is. So let's go to the other side of the town here. The Giants delivered another disappointing start to the season. They lose 21-6 to the Commanders. Have you seen the stat, Joe, that like I mentioned at the top of the pod, that they are the first team to not score a touchdown in three straight season openers since Whizzer White's 1940 to 42 Detroit Lions?
That's a long time ago. That's a good one. I didn't know that one.
Yes,
Wow.
yes,
Um,
that's an insanely bad stat to be associated with, even though Whizzer White wanted to become an associate justice in the Supreme Court.
yeah, that's one that you want to probably stay as far away as possible. But man, what do I have to say about the Giants? I think we got exactly what we expected. This is a team that's going to stink.
Yeah.
All right, this is a team that, Russell Wilson already didn't look, isn't the Russell Wilson of years past. I think sooner rather than later, everyone is going to be knocking on the door for Jackson Dart.
Yeah.
I think, I don't think we get past week 4 and we don't see Jackson Dart, especially, if Russell Wilson looks like the way he does. And he's number 2 on the depth chart. So do I think it's the right decision to throw him out there? I honestly don't. Uh, but with that being said, jobs are on the line.
Yeah. I think the jobs
Uh,
are definitely on the line there.
I think though the thing is like if Dart goes out there and plays decent or plays well, you save your job.
Yeah.
But if he goes out there and he stinks, and he could possibly stink because he's just not ready yet, you're gonna lose your job,
Yeah.
right? So it's a really it's tough to manage, and I can't imagine kind of being in that situation or in that spot, but I'm sure Gable, Shane, they are feeling the pressure right now.
Yeah. I will say too, I mean, like, apart from say Miami, I think don't think any team played worse in week 1 than the Giants did.
I don't think that's yeah. I think that's a fair statement. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
All
think
right.
that's a fair statement.
Yeah, because there's nothing really more to say. It's the same song and dance we've seen the last like 2 years where like they come in, they have this big off season, you're all excited, like they're back, they have this great defense, they figure things out, they lay an egg, and then they have a tough schedule, and they're gonna be like, you're gonna check in at Halloween, they'll be like 1-7.
Yeah, I mean, like again, I think when we last spoke, I said the 4 to 6 range, but you know you have high hopes on that defensive line, and they don't come out and do what you expect them to do. It seems like the offensive line still cannot be figured out, which has kind of been like year after year after year. So it does seem a lot like the same old Giants, which it's kind of becoming the norm now that they stink.
Yeah, it's become an issue for them here. Let's go over some of the bigger games around the league here. Opening night, interesting spot here. You get the whole spitting incident with Jalen Carter getting tossed. Cowboys play hard. You have the lightning delay. CD Lamb 4 drops. They end up losing this game here. Fun opener.
Fun opener. Didn't think it would start with a spit. That's for sure. After watching, and I'm sure you saw the angles,
Yeah, a
may have been a little instigated by Dak Prescott. Let's be honest.
little bit.
You
But
know,
they always get the second guy in usually on those penalties.
totally, totally. But I'm glad we kind of saw that angle of it because it does change a little bit. It's not me defending. You never spit on a human at all. But like he did get. I think Dak Prescott played a mind game, and he ended up essentially winning that game of it. But I was somewhat surprised with Dallas. I thought they played a lot better. Um, I thought this could have been like a somewhat of a disaster season with how the offseason kind of ended losing Micah Parsons. I don't put a lot into the Brazil game only because I look back at the Packers playing it last year, and it's just like it's hard to get a real feel because of how much preparation it goes, getting these people, getting them there, getting them accustomed to what's happening, uh, the field. And I'm sorry, the Brazil game is the Chiefs game, not the Eagles game. I
Yeah,
apologize.
yeah,
But hold on, can we start over?
yeah. Sure. I mean, I just think like that game was interesting. I feel like the Chiefs Chargers spot with a different situation. I feel like this is one of those things where, like, if you're a Charger backer, you're thrilled that Herbert dominated against a very good defense here. And you're Kansas City, like you lose that game, you possibly lose a couple like Xavier Worthy for a while with a shoulder injury. We haven't seen him practice yet, but like with you staring at the Eagles week 2 here, that's just something that you wonder, okay, do we have problems here?
Yeah, I mean, I think this speaks volumes of what the Chargers can be and how they've continued to kind of ride the wave
Yeah.
and kind of continue to improve. And I think we're getting cl and the minute I say this, I'm going to regret saying this. We're getting closer to the end of the Chiefs' reign.
Yeah.
I really kind of feel it coming. Um, there's totally a lot more holes on the roster than there were originally. Obviously, when Patrick Mahomes is your starting quarterback, anything could happen, and he can make something out of nothing. With that being said, though, again, like I think we're starting to see other teams kind of be exactly where they are, if not surpassing them at this point. But I don't take a lot of stock in that Brazil game as players get ready, get adjusted, time difference. I don't mean to make excuses, but again, to start the regular season in another country, it's unfair to both teams. I will say that. And, if I'm a Chargers guy, I am definitely happy and excited about, what is to come. Because in a competitive division, they're definitely closing the gap.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And think the other big game of week 1, obviously that Bill Raven classic here. You said along in most of America, you went to bed when it was 40-25 in the middle of the fourth quarter here. This crazy comeback for Buffalo where they get the touchdown, Derrick Henry fumbles, and then Bills go right down the field again. They get another score, and then they go ahead and kick the field goal the final minute after Harbaugh punts away on 3rd and 3, like after on a 4th and 3. So it's an interesting spot here for the Bills who were exposed defensively badly in this game, still find a way to win. And the Ravens, another big late spot where they don't finish, which is something that's become more of a theme with this group.
Yeah, like you mentioned, full disclosure, like a lot of America, I went to bed. 40-25. What am I staying up for? I got work the next day. I have a full day ahead of me. I have no, obviously I love football, but I'm exhausted. I got to get ready for the week.
Yeah.
And when I wake up and I see that score, I said, what the, you could finish 30. I'm, I didn't know what happened. And then I quickly, found the highlights and I'm like, I was in awe. I was in complete awe. If I'm a Buffalo person, obviously you have concerns defensively, but you also got to be jacked up that you got a guy like Josh Allen leading the way. And if I'm a Buffalo person, I am all in on doing whatever I can to make sure that this is the year I get to the damn Super Bowl and win it.
I agree.
Because if it doesn't happen now, it may never happen. And that's going to be a damn shame, right? Because there's been some talented teams. And if the Chiefs were never the Chiefs, then, they probably would have gotten one at least one now at this point, right? So um, for Buffalo, you got to be excited. You got to be happy with coming back and not kind of um, laying that egg, which could have been very concerning if that game ends 40-25, whatever it may be. On the flip side, like you said, with the Ravens, they can't finish it off. Right. This is a team that, continues to find ways to make mistakes, self-inflicted wounds, and ends up biting them in the rear.
Yeah.
If Ravens, I don't, same type of team, if they want to take that next step, and I was surprised with how poorly their defense played, uh, to let Josh Allen kind of and that offense get back into it. But if they want to be that team or be taken seriously, like you can't lose games like that.
Yeah, you can't. Couple other things I want to touch on here. Obviously, the big Micah Parsons trade, him going to Green Bay. He makes his Packers debut, gets the sack and went over the Lions here. Like, what's your take on what Parsons going to end up doing for this Packer team now?
I mean, as a Packer fan, I hope he's excellent and
Yep.
continues on the trajectory. Um, Obviously, we didn't see a lot of Micah Parsons, but when he was on the field, he definitely made an impact. I mean, I think that's pretty obvious. Um, and I think when he's on the field, it requires so much attention that it makes other guys be better, right? When you got guys like Rashawn Gary, who's already great, be able to go one-on-one with someone instead of having to deal with two, huge, right? When you got a young guy like Lucas Van Ness continue to get better, huge, right? When you don't have a lot of time to throw the ball, I don't care who you are, it makes your life harder, right? So with Micah Parsons on that field, he does mask the deficiencies that exist in the secondary, no doubt. But you're going to see this team be creative, this defensive unit be creative. You're going to see them get after quarterbacks. And you got a small glimpse of it. It was definitely cool watching him run out of the tunnel. It was cool getting it, chasing down Jared Goff and getting that first sack. It was even cooler beating the Lions because it feels like it's been a while since we've had that number. So um, this is the first time after week one where I'm really feeling super excited and jacked up because it's usually hey, they come out with a win or maybe they lose, but people look flat and I don't know if the rest of the team now finally realizes like making a move to bring in someone like Parsons is a move that tells your locker room, hey, we're here to play.
Yeah, you are here to play. And let's go rapid fire a couple things here. Biggest winner of week one for you?
So I think we just touched on them to the Packers and the Bills.
Yeah.
I think the Bills being able to come back rather, and get that victory, I think that is huge for that franchise, for that team. You never want to start 0-1. And for Green Bay, you saw what Parsons can do in a limited amount of time that he played, but you also got to be encouraged with how Jordan Love looked and how that offense looked.
Yeah, I would agree with that here. I'm going with the Chargers, my biggest winner of week one, just because I feel like this is a team that like has been on like fighting with the Chiefs for a while here. They had their last game was that big stink bomb in the playoffs, or Herbert is horrendous. Like they come out their first game of the year. I know it's a little weird with the international situation, but like you go out, have Herbert throw for 318 yards against the Chiefs defense that has helped them win three straight AFC titles and make the big plays down the stretch. I think you're very excited about if you're a Charger backer right now.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, like there's I gave them my flowers just a few minutes ago. They deserve all the praise to be able to kind of do that. And hey, whether it's in Kansas City, in LA, in Brazil, a win is a win. That it doesn't change.
Yeah. We'll go the other way. Biggest losers of week one. Like we can leave the Giants out as you want. I think we already kind of covered them.
Yeah, the Giants stink. I'm gonna probably say the Dolphins and the Panthers.
Yeah.
Uh, the Dolphins, it's like you have so many skill positions. I'm completely out on coach, his shtick, who he is. I think he's overrated. I think we're seeing it. Um, I think Tua is not a franchise quarterback. It was an abysmal performance. It was again I didn't watch play by play, but to get that beat up by a Colts team led by Daniel Jones, I mean yikes.
Yeah.
Yikes, right? And then the Panthers, I was really disappointed that they didn't come out stronger.
Yeah.
I had a little bit higher expectations for this team and the play calling and Bryce Young, and it just didn't happen. So, you know, um, going to my over unders, getting a little concerned right off the bat with that.
Yeah, I will say I'm with you on the Dolphins, just as I mean, like there's a lot of drama with this team. There's a lot of like murky with Tyreek Hill, whether he's happy there, whether he's healthy. We have all the rumors that Mike McDaniel's job is on the line, and then they come out and lay a stink bomb because the Colts team is not very good. So like if you're and they're at a spot like right now where like this, I feel like if things don't get turned around quickly, Mike McDaniel could be out the door before Halloween.
Well, not only that, I think it could be like a full overhaul. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you got a guy like Tyreek Hill that's gone.
Yeah.
Like imagine him going back to the Chiefs like that. Man,
That was
I don't want to speak that in existence, but if that happens, I mean, that window that I think is closing just got wide open again as long as he's healthy and on the field.
all right. So let's go ahead now. Two more things here. The teams that lost League One that most need a victory on Sunday. Like, who are you going with? Who are your picks that you feel like really has to get that W?
So I got three teams,
Okay.
and we're probably going to overlap here. I think the Lions need to win. I think there's a lot of pressure behind the Lions. Something that we touched upon last time you had me was who are the Lions, right?
Yeah.
They lose both coordinators. What are they going to do? they did not look good against Green Bay. They did not look good. So I think they need a win to let people know, like, hey, we're still we're still a team that people should take seriously. Because the way they played week one didn't look like a team that you should take seriously. Obviously, the Chiefs, right? They want to kind of bounce back, and most importantly, you want to see if you want to see Baltimore. How do they bounce back after that brutal loss against Buffalo?
Yeah, those three are definitely good picks. I'll throw a couple more out here as candidates here. Miami has New England coming down on Sunday. If they don't win that game, you're starting to get very concerned what's happening with Miami this year. That's one team here. Number two, I will throw out here in terms of teams that could really use a win. I'm gonna say I'll go Carolina as well, like one of your losers here. Like this year you thought you were getting out of Bryce Young. A road game in Arizona is winnable. I think you should be able to get that game if you are going to be a serious organization this year. And one team that's kind of flying on the radar here, the Houston Texans, like looked abysmal offensively against the LA Rams on Sunday. They got the Bucks going in. The Bucks are no slouches. So like on Monday night, like they could be 0-2. And like if Jacksonville stays hot, they could be in a hole in the division.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. I didn't go that route with Dolphins Panthers only because like I think those teams will be irrelevant by October regardless. But when you're thinking like Lions, Chiefs, Baltimore, uh, uh, those are the teams that you expect to see in December, late December and early January. And those teams start 0-2, then you're saying, uh-oh, what's happening here?
Yeah, and the Ravens especially, like if you lose at home to Joe Flacco and those Browns, like I feel like the alarm bells are going off. Like
By the way, I thought played, pretty decent against Cincinnati and had them on their backs against the wall.
yeah, and the big one. That's and then there's definitely some Brown money coming in. I look at the early lines yesterday. Like the Browns were 12.5 point underdogs. Like when the lines open, this has now moved 2 points in their favor at 10.5.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. I'd be shocked if the Browns win this game. Shocked.
Well, we said the same thing about the Ravens last year when they were 0-1, the Raiders coming in, and it's like laid an egg there.
Yeah, I mean, you listen. You fall behind too quickly, the season goes by real fast.
Yeah.
But week one is definitely going to be, you know, every win is crucial. There's just not enough games, right? So that week one loss that should have probably be a victory can be the difference maker from like home field advantage to maybe not making the playoffs, right? Like,
Yeah. Entering last year, I saw the stat like 11.5% of teams that went 0-2 made the playoffs. So basically, I think like 32 out of like 306 of 279 or something like that.
crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And we have week two coming up here. Interesting games here, obviously. Thursday night game, got Jaden Daniels going to take on Micah Parsons, the Packers here. Giants, Cowboys, Bills, Jets. You got a Super Bowl rematch at 425. You got the Monday doubleheader. What draws your eye week two?
Yeah, I think the Super Bowl rematch, just because the Chiefs are 0-1. Like, how do they bounce back? Uh, Jets Bills has some juice after the way that the Jets played week one. Totally. Like they suckered me in. They've probably suckered all Jets fans in. And starting off the week, Packers, Washington, I think that's a big one too, because it's a short week rest. You got a dynamic quarterback that could do a lot in Jaden Daniels. You know, how much more do we see Parsons? What does that look like for Green Bay again going up against two NFC perennial playoff teams, right? So I think it's a good early test for these teams.
Yeah, I think in the early window, I think you're right on that Bills Jets game. It's fascinating with the Bills, especially their defense did not look great. They had this huge emotional comeback win in the final like season opener at Highmark Stadium. Then they go on the road, take on a team they're supposed to beat in the division. Like you wonder, is there a little like less edge for the Bills here? That's something you keep an eye on here. Like if they come out a little sleepy to start the game.
No, I mean you can totally see it happen. On the flip side, like I don't know what to expect from the Jets. Like I still can't get over that week one performance, even though they lost. But still, it's just like if this team could figure out a way to do this consistently, like they may actually have something here.
Yeah, the thing I'm watching here is to see like the coordinator, specifically Tanner Engstrand, who's a first time play caller. He had some creative stuff going on, and like there were like things I liked in here. I want to see how he attacks another good defense and like see like if they can keep this momentum going with Justin Fields, where like if I know it's one game, I know he's had these games that past week looks amazing, and then the next like 2 weeks he like can't hit this broadside of a bar in accuracy wise, but like you wonder here, like could this be a situation where, like, if you get the right coaching and this is a system built to fit his skill set, like, is he the next, like, Baker, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, where, like, takes a little bit, finds the right spot, and then, like, becomes a solid starter in the league?
Yeah, I mean, it could very well happen. We've seen it happen so many places before. The likelihood only because it's the Jets is not high, but it's possible.
It's what I say. It depends entirely on if they have the right coach and get the most out of him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, right now, if you look at the coaching and you look at just a week one sample, which is very, very small, you got to be happy with what you saw.
Yeah, for sure. Very happy, Joe. Thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. People want to follow you on social media. Not going to do that.
Mike, they give me a shoot on Twitter at Joe double underscore Daloisio.
All right, Joe. Thanks for all the time. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the football this week.
Mike, can't wait to be back on. Speak to you soon.